Now, we're learning that Unnao rape case survivor, her mother and her advocate Mahmood Pracha they've reached the CBI office as CBI has now filed a petition in the Supreme Court challenging the Delhi High Court order of suspension of sentence. My colleague Arunima with all those details. Arunima?
So these are visuals on your screen where you see Mahmood Pracha accompanied by the Unnao survivor and her mother at the CBI headquarters. Today being weekend, I think senior officers of the Central Bureau of Investigation are not present at their office. But Mahmood Pracha had earlier told the press that he believes that there are CBI officials who are working in collusion with the perpetrator in this case, Mr. Sengar. That is what Mahmood Pracha had alleged, and he had said that he's going to ask CBI to start a probe under Prevention of Corruption Act against its own investigating team. So now that Mahmood Pracha has gone to CBI with the survivor, there is a possibility that they are going to give some kind of a representation or an official complaint against officials whom they believe have colluded with Kuldeep Singh Sengar. But will this case be taken up? Does the CBI believe that there was any wrongdoing, deliberate wrongdoing, or any kind of collusion? For that, we'll have to wait and see if any complaint from Mahmood Pracha is accepted. But yes, twin-pronged strategy here by the survivor. They're saying, let the CBI go and appeal to the Supreme Court. We'll do our bit as well. We would want to be a party to this case and be heard separately.
All right, do stay on with us, Arunima. We have a reaction that's coming in from the victim herself. Let's take a look at it.
सीबीआई से अगर मेरे वकील के साथ आज खड़े होते तो ये दिन देखना ही नहीं पड़ता सीबीआई को। वो हम लोगों की जीत होती और उनकी हार होती, क्योंकि उनके चेहरे पे खुशियां, उनके परिवार में खुशियां, उनके यहाँ पटाखे दग रहे हैं। तो मेरे घर से पूछो ना, मेरा बाप चला गया, परिवार चला गया, अब बारी किसकी आई? हमारे पति की नौकरी से निकाल दिया गया। मैं क्या खाऊं, कहाँ जाऊं, कहाँ बैठूं? मेरे बच्चे तो मासूम से नवजात दूध पीते हैं। बताइए कहाँ का न्याय? अन्याय है ना कि एक इंसान को डरा दिया परिवार को, अब एक इंसान को जज साहब ने पूरा खुली छूट दे दी कि इनको छोड़ दो, वो लोग डर जाएंगे, बैठ जाएंगे, मर जाएंगे। इसका मतलब जज साहब ने इतना सारा पैसा लिया है, इसकी कोई सीमा नहीं। जज साहब को बुलाइए, हम सामने से बात करेंगे, मेरा अधिकार है। सीबीआई से मिलने भी जाएंगे आप लोग? जी जा रही हूँ, बात करूंगी अपनी।
We also have our colleague Aman Sharma who's joining us live now. Aman, the fact that, and this was the point that Arunima was also mentioning about how CBI had been in the dock after the suspension was announced by the High Court. Now that CBI has a separate case appealing and putting out that petition before the Supreme Court challenging the High Court order, how much of that will give the CBI any kind of respite in this case?
See, Griha, the victim's family has been making a plethora of allegations against the CBI. They have told the High Court as well that the CBI did not back them, and when in 2019 they wanted graver charges under IPC against Mr. Sengar, they said the CBI-IO was colluding with Mr. Sengar. They have said the probe of the CBI was not fair. But the fact remains that the CBI was still able to secure a conviction against Mr. Sengar in the trial court. Now what is happening is that since there has been so much public outcry after this sentence was suspended, the CBI yesterday has filed an SLP before the Supreme Court, telling the Supreme Court that the High Court has erred in not treating Mr. Sengar as a public servant under Section 5C of the POCSO Act, that the victim's life could be endangered if Mr. Sengar steps out of jail, in due course after completing the sentence in his second term. So basically, the CBI is now saying that the High Court sentence, which has suspended Mr. Sengar's sentence, that particular judgment should be put on hold or quashed. That is why the CBI has gone to court, but the victim's family still is not trusting the CBI. We heard them earlier say that they want to file a caveat in the Supreme Court that no decision should be taken by the Supreme Court without hearing the victim family. And they've gone to the CBI office today. We don't know what exactly they want to do now by going to the CBI office, but CBI certainly filed an SLP. The ball is now in the court of the Supreme Court.
Absolutely, Aman, because the victim and her lawyer particularly had raised this point that they had requested the CBI to put certain more stringent sections against Sengar and not just be harping on public servant under POCSO, because clearly that has not worked in the victim's favor. Even they go ahead, as they go ahead and appeal against this entire verdict that's come out of the High Court to the Supreme Court, eventually this is what has come about. That loophole has come to the advantage of Sengar.
Well, yes, Grehan, that is what we have been exposing here at CNN News 18 over the last 2 days by way of the Sengar files. You go into the court documents, you go into the trial court judgment, you go into the bail orders that, Sengar got out of jail at least 4 times on interim bail for in the last 3 years. All of that show that in a way the system failed the victim. When the victim goes to the trial court in 2019 saying graver charges of IPC should be put on Mr. Sengar because he's a public servant and, committing an offense of rape entitles him to higher sections. The CBI did not support that application. The court, trial court noted that, and when the High Court judgment, it has been noted that in that particular case, the CBI did not back the victim. So in a way, the CBI, though it claims that in the High Court, it has stoutly fought for the victim and, stoutly objected to Mr. Sengar getting any sort of relief. But the fact is that the High Court has given a big relief to Mr. Sengar, which is unprecedented because a person convicted through to a life sentence, getting his entire sentence suspended by a higher court is not something that happens every day. So clearly there's been a lot of outrage, and now we'll have to see what view the Supreme Court takes on this entire matter.
Right, absolutely, Aman. Thank you so much for all of those inputs there.